And let's bring in now Democratic City Council member Robin Woensley of Minneapolis, who was on the ground at the site of the shooting yesterday. Councilwoman, thank you for being with us. I wish we were talking under different circumstances. What's going through your mind this morning as the investigations into this deadly shooting get underway and protesters take to the streets?
Yeah, I think, of course, there's just a widespread and collective sense of despair and grief over what was avoidable, which was the shooting and killing, and very blatant shooting and killing of a 37-year-old mother by the name of Renee Good, who simply was making sure that her child made it safely to school, but also have shared in this collective labor of caring for our neighbors, especially our immigrant neighbors who are being targeted by federal ICE agents, and making sure that other children made it to school as well, and in that process lost her life at the hands of a federal ICE agent. And that should not be the norm that we are setting, where civilians can be shot and killed by federal ICE agents who feel as if they can then do so without impunity. So right now there's as you talked about with many of the widespread actions happening on the ground, there is a collective call for accountability and justice for Renee Good, for ICE to be removed out of Minneapolis and out of Minnesota. We would love to see that escalated and see ICE be abolished altogether, because they are the imminent threat to the safety of civilians, not just here in Minneapolis and Minnesota, but all across the country.
You talk about Renee Good, the person who we understand was killed in this incident, a 37-year-old mother. What more do you know about her, and what do you know about why she was on the scene in that neighborhood yesterday?
So for the past 6 weeks, Minneapolis has experienced what has felt to be occupation by the Trump administration's orders to have federal ICE agents essentially swarm our communities. And that has meant many, if not thousands, of our residents haven't been able to go to work. They haven't been able to transport their children to schools safely without the threat of being kidnapped or now even killed. That means residents haven't been able to go to their places of worship. Business owners have not been able to receive customers, and we've seen lots of businesses every single day having to close their doors. We have seen ICE presence in our city interrupt and destabilize day-to-day living, and that escalated to what we saw happen yesterday morning with the shooting and killing of Renee Good, who was doing what a lot of our residents are doing now, which is caring for one another. They're helping with grocery runs. They're making sure if families can't leave their homes, okay, we have residents here who can escort your children to school so that you don't get picked up and kidnapped and disappeared by a mass ICE agent. So that is what Renee Good was doing, as thousands of neighbors have been doing for the past 6 weeks, caring for one another in the absence of leadership by our Trump administration to truly protect residents, as opposed to waging a cruelty campaign against them through ICE agents and their terrorist attacks right now in our communities.
I hear the emotion in your voice. It's certainly been a moment where this incident has really jarred a lot of raw emotion loose, including some really strong language we heard from Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey toward federal immigration officials. Here's part of that.
And I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave.
Just hearing that level of frustration and anger and bluntness, it's clearly not just about this one incident. Democrats rhetorically now are not holding back. What does it say about this moment? Is this a breaking point, do you think?
I think this is absolutely an unprecedented moment where we've seen, for the past several months, the Trump administration has said the reason why he's waging this quote unquote war against certain immigrants is to go after the quote unquote bad guys, to keep our communities safe. And that couldn't be further from the truth. As we've seen, how do you go from starting with immigrants to a 37-year-old mother being shot and killed in broad daylight in a residential area, which shows that essentially federal ICE agents have the ability and now the authority to go into our communities with whatever reasoning or rationale that they decide in that moment to go and kill civilians. And just because you're a citizen does not mean you're protected, as we've seen, again, with yesterday's shooting and killing of Renee Good, but also, again, the detainment and the assaults of civilians who've been taking peaceful actions to the streets and just caring for their neighbors who are under siege and under threat. But there is a collective agreement that ICE needs to be moved from Minneapolis. They need to go, and the whole agency needs to be abolished altogether. And in addition to that, the federal agents who were responsible for Renee Good's murder needs to be arrested. Just because you have a badge does not mean you get to kill with impunity. And we need to see the agents involved in Renee's murder be held accountable and have a judicial process that does not also have the federal agency overseeing it. We want local ownership and oversight over investigation in the judicial proceedings tied to Renee Good's murder. We cannot trust the FBI, who is given authority for their agents to go out and kill civilians and residents and terrorize them, we should not trust that they will fairly investigate and hold the agents responsible. And those are the call to actions. And at the local level, we're doing everything that we can as well to protect our residents. And the next coming days, my office is bringing forward an eviction moratorium. And I hope to earn the support of my colleagues and our residents on this, because we do know, again, residents can't leave their home without risk of eviction. And they shouldn't risk being evicted from their homes out of fear for not wanting to be detained and separated from their family. So this is one of the ways in which we can help our residents shelter in place while we work on getting ICE out of our communities.
Minneapolis City Council member Robin Wonsley, thank you very much.